Well, good morning, everybody. We will get to see, I guess, if anybody even comes. In the meantime, I'm chatting with my daughter. She is in New York City in the Big Apple this morning, or actually, it would be evening there, afternoon, evening. Her and her mother are visiting. They're on spring break. So, or my daughter's on spring break, anyways. How is everybody? Let's see if anybody. Oh, we have one person in. We're off to a very slow start, as usual. It doesn't get much slower. We're just a small channel, uh, but hey, it's nice and getting to watch. My daughter's having a good time. She just sent me a picture of her at Times Square. So, although she's said she made it there, she's been there before. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's having a good morning or afternoon or whatever. Good morning, Ricky. How are you? I hope you're doing well, Ricky. What have you been up to? We went out to dinner last night. That's a funny video. I have it was Arlene and I and one of her girlfriends. Hey, Kiki, how are you? Good morning, Scott. But we went to Margarita Station last night to have Mongolian barbecue and had a very funny conversation with James and Eddie, who went with us, giving James a hard time, only based on the fact that he had an excessive bar bill uh, the night before. So he went out. Actually, what happened was we went to Tequila Reef for lunch, had a margarita, decided to hit a couple of bars, and James went to one bar, two bars. We went to a couple bars too, I think, prior to his girlfriend finishing up. I think she was involved in some schoolwork. And anyways, to make a long story short, James met up with his girlfriend at one of the bars where his girlfriend had a bunch of friends that worked there, and they had a highly excessive bar bill. Um, and we were giving him a hard time about his bar bill. Hey, Ricky. Good. I'm glad you're doing well. Glad you're doing well. Actually, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's enjoying today. It's probably for many of you still your Saturday. It's our Sunday morning. It's about 7 o'clock Sunday morning here. Um, and we're just kind of plugging along. And, it's just the usual stuff for us, or often the usual stuff. Arlen's got to run down to Manila, I think, sometime this week, drop some stuff off for her sister there. Then we're also planning my daughter's vacation to come here, getting taxes done. I still pay taxes in the U.S. You can't get away from that. Oh, it's Brian. Oh my God. Good morning, Brian. I hope you're doing well. You're up bright and early. And CJ? How did I end up with both Brian and CJ? Two of my favorite folks. And of course, it's always an impressive thing to have Brian on board because between you guys don't realize. I think that's something that people just don't recognize, and even with CJ, all right, people that produce YouTube videos, they put a lot more effort into it than you would think. I mean, it takes time and it takes effort. And when people that are as busy as Philly in the Philippines or CJ Abroad, which are both great channels, CJ's technical ability is incredible, and his motovlogging, and he's got a new bike too. He's got that new Bristol. That's a big deal. But when you take the time when they drop into your live, oh, I must have hit the bigger leagues or something, or having a very fortunate day, one or the other. Philly's got a live coming up later today that I'm going to be dropping into and watching. CJ, I don't know, it's 7 o'clock in the morning here. It wouldn't surprise me if CJ wasn't already getting ready to get on his bike, is on his way to his bike, or is planning something for his bike. Uh, so you can see people stay busy here. And you have to stay busy. I mean, if you don't, you just become you just become a chair warmer in some bar. And that's just no way to do things. It really and truly isn't. So, anyways, our buddy James went out, and I think his entire bar bill for the night was about 40,000 pesos, which is quite excessive, especially excessive when you're not by yourself. He was actually out with his girlfriend. So how you manage to spend 40,000 when you're out with your girlfriend at the bar is a little interesting. But it is what it is. So we had dinner with James, and then we had dinner with Lay, Randy's wife, went with us. Randy didn't really feel like going, and finally, uh, Eddie Wow, buddy of ours, went with us, and went to Margarita Station, and hate to see that they're moving, but I'm hoping that the move and the transformation and the change that Margarita Station goes through is all positive. What I am looking forward to is the fact that Tequila Reef might be going 24/7, and that's another icon. I mean, for those of you that don't know, of course, there's only 7 of you, and I know most of you. Uh, but Margarita Station's been there for 30 years, and they have a huge menu and a pretty diverse, very diverse. Oh, it's BT and Betty as well. Hiya, BT. Hiya, Betty. But one of our favorite meals at Margarita Station is their Mongolian barbecue, and it's good. It actually is good. There's even for a standard portion, there's plenty of meat in there, and we see people that go through the line and they double up on the meat, but there's plenty of meat in a standard portion, and you can tell I don't lack for standard portions, that's for sure. And we had a good time. We sat and ate dinner, chit chatted, and then went our separate ways. A couple of the guys went bar hopping, or actually met some other guys and went bar hopping, and Arlen and I went home. I guess it's the married life is not the, oh, thank you, whoever hit that like button. Married life is not the most exciting adventure on a daily basis. And that's probably something about the Philippines that isn't uncommon with anywhere else. I mean, married in the U.S. is no different. You have to say, yeah, BT, the portions are good. We really don't eat much at Margarita Station, to be honest with you. Um, five restaurant Manila BGC prices 5 times. Yeah, Kiki. Um, it was an expensive. I will put it to you like this: I was unaware that the bars or some of the bars on Walking Street apparently do take credit cards. And at the end of the night, he James put his bill. The last bar they were at, they dropped 30,000 pesos, and he put it on his American Express, which I thought was funny. But they had a good time, and I think a lot of it had to do with there were just so many friends um, that they helped entertain. So he spent a lot of money. It wasn't their individual. I'm certain they didn't individually between the two of them drink that much. But James is a really good guy. But that is an excessive night. There is no doubt at all. Um, for those of you that don't know, Philly in the Philippines is here and as well, and he's got a live coming up this morning that ought to be pretty good. And I don't know what CJ's schedule is like. And then BT, I got no idea whether you're still out there scaring cats and anything else. I've been watching your shorts; they're pretty funny. Uh, Kiki, what's your schedule? Aren't you coming in soon to Angeles? I guess. I think. I don't know. Um, but either way, it's been an interesting. It was an interesting evening, to say the least. So we've got that going on. We've got planning for my daughter's trip coming on. Uh, we've got oh, Brian's always in his lane. He's a he's a good guy, that's for sure. Um, we've got Arlen's father's birthday coming up that we're gonna. Arlen's gonna go back to the province. Uh, Back to the province in a few days. Not a few days. She'll be back in the province for her father's birthday in June, and then we'll both be back in the province in August for Fiesta. So that'll be interesting. So we've got a little bit of a schedule. We were looking at taking another trip to Boracay, but we couldn't get everything situated prior to completing my taxes. And it wasn't the timing of when I'm going to pay and file, but it was how much am I going to pay in taxes this year? And maybe I need to conserve or be a little bit more cost effective uh, uh, before we jump onto a bunch of different things. And then, our next big trip, I think our next big trip is going to be Bali. We have some good friends that live in Bali, and I think that's where we're going to plan our next out of country trip. Probably go stay there for a couple, 3 weeks. Yeah, not Angeles. I'll be back in Manila. Let me see here. Not Angeles. I'll be back in Manila on March 31 for 2 weeks. Uh, at Easter, I'll be back again in June. Ah, okay, Kiki. And BT and Betty is like, BT, you're going to have to be careful out there walking. I mean, if it's not going to be one of the cats that run you over, I'm live, honey. Arlen's like, oh no, I just got out of bed. I'm not coming in there. I don't want the camera to see me. Uh, yeah, well, BT, you're going to have to pay attention. Nobody wants to scrape you off the road, that's for sure. So, anyways, we've been looking at a combination of different things and trying to figure out what we're going to do. And so it's just, it's always the usual stuff. It's always, Arlen and I are simple people. We live a simple life. We don't get, um, our channel is small. We just deal with it, the way it is. I entertain myself, and Arlen does as well with the channel. And we just slowly grow piece by piece, little by little. So, not so much I can complain about there. We're pretty happy about it. I got to charge the e trike, which again, I was really interested. Philly in the Philippines did a YouTube. If anybody watches this that is contemplating an e trike, he did a great video on e-trikes yesterday about what's required, what you got to do, where they can go, um, all of those different things. And I can attest for the fact, even that three wheeler, if you go into, or I'll tell you what happened. I was coming down Narcisco, which is the street in front of our condo, and we have a parking garage. It's small, but occasionally we're able to park our SUV in there. But that's also where they have motorcycle parking, and they have parking. So with that um, being said, oh, thank you, BT. Thank you very much. I'm so poor I can't pay attention. Funny. Welcome back, JG. Anyways, so you have to make, a 45-degree left-hand turn from the street into the parking garage. And I was coming back I think I might have been coming back from Tequila Reef. I can't remember. But I took that turn. I didn't have any traffic, so I didn't slow down that much because it's got a little uphill, and I wasn't going that fast. But one of the things that the guy said in Brian's video about the e-trikes was, they become unstable. This four-wheel one is more unstable. Well, I have a three-wheel, three-person e-trike, and I took that left-hand turn. And when I took that left-hand turn and hit the little ramp going up at the same time, I almost tipped over. So they are unstable, in fact. So that's one of the things we kind of look out for. But it's getting time. It's been a couple weeks. Time to charge the battery. It's low. But we're very happy with ours. It suits us well. We've got JJ's right up the street. We've got local shopping that's routine for us. Fresh Options is right up the street. So the e-trike works great for that kind of stuff. I take it in the mornings down to Tequila Reef when I go down there for breakfast. But it's fun and reasonable, and I can't complain too much about it, to be honest with you. So those e-bikes are too slow. Someone will get run over those in Angeles one day. I hope they stay off MacArthur. Well, they don't stay off MacArthur. They're on MacArthur all the time. We never take ours to. Oh, JG. Well, you know what? Let's hope not. Somebody didn't like it. Well, that's the way it is. I hope they stay off MacArthur. We don't take ours on MacArthur, only not because of the legalities, just simply, it's a mess. MacArthur's just not super safe. You can't dodge stuff like you can on a bike. And, even if a scooter hits that stupid thing, I'm sure it's going to get damaged. So we'll see. Brian also said only rich people live in Candy Towers. Well, that's not true. I think Brian may have, I don't know what Brian said about it, but I can assure you we're not rich. We live in Candy. We're not rich. And that's just all there is to it. If we were rich, I'd be driving around in my Mercedes. I'd be taking private jets. I'd be out. Well, first off, it wouldn't be it would be we, Arlen and I, would be out and about and buying stuff left and right. But we're very frugal, to be honest with you. We don't spend a lot. Uh-oh. All right. Now the world's going to shit. Ace Bachelor Cool's here. We were just having a a conversation the other day, yesterday or the day before. We were talking about you, Ace. I can't remember what it was. But your name came up in conversation. Looks like you're getting everything together to get back here. Seems like it. I see you've got a bunch of crates packed up. You're going through backpacks and taking a look at this and that. Um, it's getting close. It's getting close, young man. You'll be here soon. Sooner than you think. Anyways, that's for sure. Yeah, BT, I don't know. You know what? It's kind of weird. We go by San Fernando all the time, but we don't go to San Fernando. Yet at the same time, there's um, a bunch of different shops there I'd love to see. Hey, JG, what are we using to live stream? Picture quality. Okay. Well, the camera that you're seeing right now is it's a GoPro Series 8. All right. It's an old GoPro. Um, that being said, uh, we use Ecamm to live stream. It's a Apple. It's not made by Apple, but it works on Apple systems. I don't know if there's a PC compatible Ecamm software, and it is very, very diverse. But the other thing that you have to understand is that I have a monster sized fiber line in my home in the condo. So I mean, routinely we're at probably 300, 320 down, and um, and I mean, up our upside speeds in excess of 400 most of the time. So, and then we run it through an old. I have a 6-year-old, 7-year-old iMac. So it's Ecamm. The camera that's broadcasting right now is an old GoPro 8, and it's on a iMac, old iMac. No, BT, I do not. I do not look good in person. And I don't think I look good on camera, to be honest with you. That's a GoPro 8. Yeah, it's a GoPro 8. That's the one, I've never used it to do a live stream. You should try it, JG. It works well. I mean, a big factor of it is going to be, um, your bandwidth, how much you can, how at what resolution you're using. I mean, we're actually at 1080 on the GoPro, but YouTube will shuttle it, and so I don't know. You'd have to get somebody that's a little bit more technical than I am. So at one time, I think YouTube was only doing live streams at 780, but I don't know. It might be doing them more. But thank you, though. It's nice to know that the image is coming across clear. That's for sure. And some of you wonder maybe why I have such a big fiber line. Well, I have a big fiber line for a couple of reasons. Number one, I am on the internet a lot. Okay. And I used to be gaming on the internet a lot. And Arlen loves watching Korean dramas on Netflix. So if I want to watch TV, then I'm watching TV in the bedroom and Arlen's in the living room. And, with both of us downstream, watching movies, it just, we needed better. And then to be honest with you, um, what happens is Candy Palace actually has the same fiber line for the entire building, every unit that I have individually. So when, especially on the weekends, Candy Palace is generally full on the weekends, but they're certainly close to full, if not. And with all of them on Wi-Fi hooked up to their fiber line, it can get slow. And that just, I can't tolerate that little spinning thing about getting data and everything else. So that's why we put in that fiber line. Oh, is it still cold in Washington? Last I looked, I saw, what was it? Where'd you go, Ace? You went to Coeur d'Alene or something like that? You were going to a basketball tournament or something. You were on your way, a couple hours drive, and it's so beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful in the Philippines, but even though it's beautiful in the Philippines, you still end up with missing what it is you grew up seeing. Sometimes, I mean, I never was raised in a lot of snow, but it wasn't unusual to get snow. And, we had snow in Flagstaff, an hour away from Phoenix, hour and 20 minutes at best, at worst. And once in a while, it even would snow in Phoenix. I think it snowed maybe in the 20 years that I lived in Phoenix. I bet it snowed maybe 5, 6 times. Now, it snowed for a couple hours. Worst it ever snowed was for like a morning, like 4 or 5 hours. And we got about, I don't know, I'd say half an inch. And it melted almost as fast as it hit the ground. But, you miss snow. You absolutely miss it. Wouldn't, even Arlen, who was raised in the Philippines, loves to go play in the snow. She wouldn't want to go into the snow on a daily basis, but she certainly loves to play in the snow. That's for sure. Um, she used to enjoy that. We would take a drive up to Flag, and then there's so much BLM land on the way. You just pull over and go play in the snow, but it's difficult. You have to be careful running around and playing in the snow in Arizona is difficult, slightly treacherous. There's a lot of cactus in that snow. So JG says he's glad he came before lockdown and doesn't seem quite as vibrant now to me. I think Angeles is just about like every other city. It has ebbs and flows. I can tell you right now, Angeles is probably not what it was before pandemic, but it is slowly bumping up every single day, it seems like. Every day, it's going more and more and more. Um, right now, we used to only see miserable traffic on Fields Avenue on Friday and Saturday afternoon evenings. Now it's every evening after 4:30, and we used to only see miserable traffic on Fields Avenue going out of the Walking Street area um, on Saturdays. Now it can take a trike 15, depending on traffic, 15, 20 minutes to get from Walking Street to Candy Palace. And it's just that stretch up Fields Avenue just is locked down, dead. It happens. Uh, our Lynn, some friends of ours went out last night after we got back from dinner. Some friends of ours went back out last night, and they sent a text message and walked. They said Walking Street was slammed. So, I think it's getting better. There's a lot more construction here, JG, a lot more. Um, Clark is expanding some property out there. Um, the railroad is supposedly back on track for the Clark station. In fact, on this is March, April 1st, on April 1st, we're going to start seeing direct, and when I say direct, nonstop flights to some of the bigger local destinations out of Clark starting April 1st or a couple days before, but the announcement was April 1st. Both Philippine Airlines and Cebu Pacific, no, just Cebu Pacific, uh, are going to be doing non-stops from Clark to Boracay, Boracay, however you want to say it. And I don't even think they existed before pandemic. I don't remember there being a direct non-stop. And I'm not talking about going into Calibo. I'm talking about direct flights into Catlacan. So that's really nice. So the flight schedules are expanding here. Um, we had no problem getting a direct international flight to um, Bangkok out of Clark. We elected to go to Manila because we wanted to fly a different airline. The timing worked better, but there were directs to Bangkok out of Clark. So, I mean, Clark's expanding. The condos out there are still going up, apparently, and they're still selling. I don't know how that works. I think what's more interesting right now is going to be what's going to happen with the bank failure in the U.S. of SVB. That's going to have a big impact. And if the impact gets significant, it's going to have a global impact, just like the 2008 recession did. So that'll be interesting to see what happens and what direction that goes in, for sure. Um, Other than that, we see a lot more traffic here. I think one of the things that also 5 years ago the traffic wasn't so bad. But 5 years ago or 7 years ago, somewhere around in there, is when they loosened up, or it seems like they loosened up the credit process for buying a new car. And that, I mean, we see in the past 7 years, we see a huge increase in the number of private flights to a private. I'm sorry, I'm reading a comment at the same time. A huge increase in the number of private vehicles on the road outside of Manila. All right, because Manila's always had a lot, but outside of Manila, we see a huge increase. You know, Lafferty, Gary, I don't know if they have direct flights from Clark to Davao, but certainly it would be easy to check. Um, I would bet somebody is going to have a direct flight to Davao. I know that Philippine Air runs a lot of their flights, Manila, Cebu, Davao, but I don't know. I don't know offhand, but I can look it up and I can get the information back to you. If you'll leave a comment or send me an email address, I'll look it up for you and be happy to do so. Leave a comment in one of my videos. I get it. We read every comment. JG says the impact won't be that bad. I hope not, but we'll see. Ace, Spokane, Washington, 3:35 Saturday afternoon. Now just think, Ace, if you were in Angeles at 3:35, you'd be starting your bar hop. You'd be at Tequila Reef, getting a margarita and a late lunch, and then planning out your evening. Or you could be in Spokane, Washington, and watch the snow melt. Wow, Philo as well. Good morning, Philo. How's that baby? How's Anthony doing? And of course, how's Jonah? I hope Jonah's doing well, and the baby. And of course, and forgive me, I don't remember, Jonah's sister who's staying with you. Hope everything's going well. That's for sure. So, what's this here? Oh, you know what, folks? That is my daughter asking me to give her a call. So let me tell you, before I do, let me tell you, we've been living on and off in the Philippines for the past 7 years. When I'm in the Philippines, and for the past 2.5 years, we've been living nonstop. We moved full time. All right. When I'm in the Philippines, my daughter calls me or attempts to every day, except for 9 days. There have been 9 days in those 7 years when I'm in the Philippines that my daughter has not called because she was busy. You know, even when she's traveling internationally, when she went to Europe, she'd call me, touch base. So when she says, hey, give me a call, it's time for Dad to give her a call. She's the greatest girl in the world. I swear she is. So I got about 5 minutes before I got to call her. JG, yeah, the strip club series. I haven't done another one of those because there didn't seem to be much interest. But I can do another one, and I mean we've got a ton of stories to tell on how it worked. But sometimes I did get a demonetization on one of them one time just because the content of the language, I guess the whatever transpired, they didn't like it too much. Good morning, John. John says I've been in Quezon City for 6 years in grass residence. Maybe that's the name of where John lives. I don't know. But welcome, John, either way. But as I said, I've got to run. I've got to give my daughter a call. And look, thanks for dropping in. You guys all do well. I hope you have a good night. Oh, no, good morning, wherever you are. And take care. But got to call her. Thanks.